All right, guys, bang, bang, lunch money time. While Wall Street's trying to get rich, the rest of us just trying to get our lunch money right. I'm here with the beautiful, intelligent Polina Marinova. I can't really make fun of her clothes because I'm not there, so I don't know what she's wearing other than it looks like a
Yes.
spaghetti strap top.
Spaghetti
Uh,
strap. Okay.
Woo! You didn't know I knew that, did you?
Definitely.
Don't forget, Lunch Money is now sponsored by BlockFi. BlockFi's got 3 products you can buy and sell crypto on their crypto exchange. You can give them crypto and they'll give you a US dollar loan to get your collateral. Or my favorite product as an investor and a user is that you can deposit crypto in a stable coin and they will pay you up to 8.6% interest. Go check them out, blockfi.com/lunch money. No brainer, get money, get paid. Miss Polina, what's up?
All right. So starting off the day with fracking pioneer Chesapeake Energy Corporation on Sunday became the largest oil and gas company to file for bankruptcy protection during the coronavirus pandemic. Why are they
You
struggling?
look You look like an angel or a saint with the light over your head. No problem. They are struggling because Russia and Saudi Arabia flooded the market with oil, drove down prices. U.S. shale producers can't operate at lower than like a $30-$35 barrel of oil price. And so they are the second large one to go bankrupt. Winning Petroleum actually went bankrupt back in April. These guys filed for bankruptcy protection, wiping out $7 billion in debt.
I don't know. It said that it was the largest.
They're the largest, but there's 2 big ones that have gone out of business, gone through bankruptcy now. Whitting back in April. They're not the largest, but they're one of the largest. And then Chesapeake is the largest. You want to hear a wild story?
Sure.
Aubrey McClendon was the founder of Chesapeake Energy, and he got kicked out of the company in like 2013 or 2014, I forget. And then he eventually got charged federally with a bunch of crimes around rigging a bunch of contracts. And the day after he was federally indicted or charged or whatever, he crashed into a bridge at going like 90 miles an hour. And there was a bunch of speculation over his death of
Oh,
whether he killed himself or it was an accident.
why do I remember this story? I feel like he was somebody's mentor.
He also was one of the owners of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you and I know somebody who Aubrey was their largest LP, and that's why.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it was not a good
Okay.
situation. But Chesapeake Energy is filing for bankruptcy. The crazy part of this is they're wiping out $2 billion worth of debt. So if you were holding that debt, KO.
I know. So Chesapeake's share price dropped more than 93% since January from $172 to $11.85. If you were holding Chesapeake stock,
But if you're a short seller, you did great. And also the equity probably should get wiped out here, especially if the debt holders are getting wiped out as well. But the debt holders some of that will convert to equity. And then also they're putting a bunch more money in. So like this is what happens in bankruptcy. The company doesn't go out of business. And so if you go back weeks when we were talking about let the airlines go to bankruptcy, let all these people go to bankruptcy, the companies don't stop operating. They just recapitalize themselves. So it's just a big misnomer of, oh, bankruptcy means that the business is gone. That's not true.
hmm.
What's next?
Okay. So here's one I don't actually quite understand. I don't understand how this works, but the Fed is buying up debt of Coca-Cola, Berkshire Hathaway, Marriott, Philip Morris, and Walmart. Why?
Well, because this is just absolute
It's corporate
asinine.
debt.
Yeah. So basically what ends up happening is the Federal Reserve creates a bunch of money, right? They've created over $3 trillion so far this year. They've expanded their balance sheet by 75%. And then what do they do with that money? So some of it is sent to people, right? All kinds of different programs. They do all sorts of lending programs. But one of the other things they can do is they can buy assets. So they can buy treasury bonds, right? They can buy ETFs. They can buy all this kind of stuff. Now, there's a ton of controversy and debate over what they should buy, what they shouldn't buy, all of that stuff. But really, what's the difference between buying a treasury bond, which is debt, or buying a corporate bond? All you're doing is you're basically betting on the solvency of the organization you're buying the debt from. So you're betting on the solvency of the US when you buy a treasury bond. You're betting on the solvency of Walmart or Coca-Cola or whoever when you buy corporate bonds. So there's a difference for sure. But I think that one's probably blown out of proportion in terms of if they're going to buy stuff, like they're going
Why
to
not
buy whatever.
Why not buy the profiles debt? It's going to be solvent in a year. I can guarantee you that.
But
Okay.
a lot of the questions come down to like, are you playing kingmaker as well? Right? Is the Federal Reserve choosing to buy Coca-Cola but not Pepsi, and therefore now Pepsi suffers and Coca-Cola ends up doing better?
So it says that the action has been lauded by investors for easing conditions in credit markets, avoiding a potentially catastrophic corporate cash crunch that could have triggered a wave of bankruptcies. But yeah, you're right. Like, why Coca-Cola and why not Pepsi, or maybe both?
Well, of course, investors are excited about this because they're getting bailed out. They're holding equity or debt in companies that were struggling, and now the government's coming in. And this isn't "quote unquote" a bailout in the sense of they're just giving the money. Right? Remember with the airlines, they just gave them $50 billion, and 2/3 of it was for free. This is basically a different version of a bailout. Right? Is what they're doing is they're buying up the debt. But somebody like me would say, why does the government have to buy it? Why don't investors buy it? And the reason why investors aren't buying is because it's mispriced. So once again, the government is being the dummy in the room, and they're willing to do things that the private market isn't willing to do. And therefore, the companies are benefiting, other investors are benefiting, and the government's left holding the bag. I just don't agree with it.
Whenever you read articles and you see who's praising the decision, make sure you figure out their incentives first.
Big facts. Pole with the big facts. All right, what's next?
Pole. All right. Late Saturday night, a flurry of Chase Bank customers began posting on social media, complaining of money unexpectedly disappearing or appearing in their accounts. I feel like if money appeared in your account, you wouldn't be complaining on social media. But one Twitter user said, check my account this morning, I'm missing over $1,000. Not happy. So apparently Chase had some technical glitch that caused customers to see incorrect balances in their accounts. I mean, and they've corrected it. Everybody's balance is back to normal, supposedly. What were they doing with that money?
Well, here's the scary part is what happens if you just woke up, like Mark Yusko says all the time, what happens if you just went to the ATM and you checked your balance and it said zero? How would you prove what money you had in there?
That's a good point.
Right? It's just numbers on a screen. And if you're like, I had
screenshots every day now.
I had $10,000 in my bank account. And if they just said, no, you didn't, what would you do?
I don't know. I would freak the F out.
Right? But like same thing here is just like, if $1,000 went missing, how do you prove that's actually what you had?
Yeah. Do you remember that story you told me about Greece when they basically wiped out people's cash in their accounts for a tax?
It's called a bank levy. And what they basically do is they just say, 10% of everyone's deposits in the bank account, we're taking that as a emergency tax for the government. And they just took out the money. But even worse than that was they actually locked people out so they couldn't withdraw any money. And so you didn't have access, plus they took some of your money. And there's just nothing you could do. But you know what solves the problem? Bitcoin, baby. That's what solves the problem.
How does Bitcoin?
You always know what you own because you own the Bitcoin. You hold it. No one else has access to it. You've got your private keys. And so it solves all these problems. You're not worried about JP Morgan's technical glitch. You're not worried about them saying you got less than you thought you had. You're not worried about anyone holding you away from your money. And you're not worried about the government taxing it in a bank levy.
So you just need to keep track of your key.
Private keys.
Private keys. But okay, if somebody wiped out all your Bitcoin, how are you going to prove you? Well, I guess there's no authority to go to.
They can't wipe it out. The only thing they could do is they could hack you and steal it.
But nobody can just take it like for some nefarious reason. Huh?
Because you're in charge.
I like being in charge.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So work from home forever is that all these companies are now telling workers, basically, you can just like work from home permanently even after the pandemic. And of course, the companies are Facebook, Twitter, Square, Shopify, French automaker, PSA, I don't know, Box, Slack. So it's mostly tech startups. But honestly, I feel like they were already kind of distributed and they were already working remotely. This is not anything new. It's just kind of like, let's get some positive press.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there's people who are just seeking positive press. There's also people who say, "Hey, look, why do we need all these offices? Right? We can do all this stuff remotely as well." And look, it'll probably end up being not black and white in the sense that some companies will do really well and they'll thrive. Some companies will struggle with the transition. But ultimately, I think what the pandemic has shown is that you don't need everyone in the same room 100% of the time. The whole idea of like punching a time clock to go to work is pretty stupid. And then on top of that, like if you can optimize remotely, your employees actually may be happier, right? They'll actually be able to live where they want to live and kind of have a bunch of freedom that previously was unavailable to them. So like, good for these
Yeah.
companies doing it.
I was actually reading an article that said that people are actually more productive working from home. A lot of companies are finding that. And it probably has to do with you're not commuting for an hour or two, you're not constant, like where I used to sit at Fortune, people would walk by me all day long. So you get distracted. I mean, all that is, and then those pointless meetings. So this way, maybe it's just a little bit better for some people.
Yeah,
And also
but
like,
if you work from home and you have an annoying wife and she just keeps bothering you 95% of the time, is it worse to sit next to people walking by or just have her be able to yell to you, "Hey, hey"?
so my mom was like, how did Anthony survive 3 months with you every single day? I was like, you know what? He's lucky to be there. But another perk from another perk from working from home is it also allows flexibility for parents who have little kids and they are able to do their work while also take care of the kid and not have to pay for daycare and all of that stuff. So I think
You're saying that like it's a positive. There's a lot of parents who are saying, "I wish my kid was back at daycare. I wish they were in school."
it's a
I'm
non.
not trying to have I'm not trying to have 2-year-old Johnny pulling on my pant leg, hitting me with, "Dad, can I eat now? Dad, can I eat now?"
Oh my god.
Nah. Next.
Okay.
Yo, you look almost as pretty as I do today.
Prettier. Um, okay. NASA, this is my favorite story of all time. NASA is offering $35,000 in prizes for someone to design a toilet that will work on the moon. Like, first of all, shouldn't we design other things before the toilet first?
I'm cool with designing the toilets on the moon. Why only $35,000? I want $1 million if I do
Yeah,
that.
I feel like Bill Gates is already on this. He's probably designed like 3 toilets by now.
And I just feel like if I was going to design a toilet that worked on the moon or in space, I wouldn't go do it in the grant program for NASA. Instead, I would take the technology, I would create a company, and then I'd say, "Hey, you guys want to contract me?" And I got a business. And instead, I would tell them, "You need to pay me $35,000 per toilet I give you." And in the government contracting process, that'll probably fly just perfectly.
But you know what's really tough? You need to design a toilet that works both in the microgravity of space or 0 G and on the moon, where gravity is about a sixth of what we feel on Earth. So I feel like
Yes,
that's
you
pretty.
just need to have like a vacuum, like a little vacuum suction. Remember, everyone who doesn't know, poop on the spacecrafts are saved until they get back to Earth, and then they
We did the
dispose.
research on lunch money, remember?
And pee, number one, not number two, number one is thrown out into space. They just let the pee float into space. It's
Wait,
crazy.
yeah, was that crazy?
What do you mean? If you go for a spacewalk, it means you're just hanging out in pee infested space.
I think it's gone by then. Um,
Maybe.
okay,
What's up?
this is what I like. Bonus points will be awarded to designs that can capture vomit without requiring the crew member to put his or her head in the toilet. I feel like that should be designed for Earth too. I feel like that's a good invention to have.
I feel like NASA's doing a lot of dreaming and they should just focus on some more realistic things.
They
That
should,
sounds pretty
you know,
ridiculous.
what they should focus on. They should focus on helping me win my bet and prepare Tom Cruise to go to space. That's what
What's
they.
the next top? What's the next topic?
The next topic is lunch money winner. Okay.
So on Friday, we asked for people to put nice comments
Oh,
in the
guys, you made
video,
my day. You were kind to your friends.
and Polina was going to choose a winner. But before she says who the winner is, I just want to point out that she texted me on Friday afternoon and hit me with, wow, people really like today's video. They're being so nice in the comments. And I had to remind her that in effect, they were getting paid to be nice in the comments. And that's why there was nice comments, not because they just liked her all the time.
Once I realized that, I was kind of sad, but then I think some people genuinely liked my joke.
I don't think the joke was funny. I literally didn't laugh. All right, who's the lunch money winner?
Okay, the lunch money winner is Harris King. He said, Paulina will probably have $1 billion net worth before Pomp.
I'd be cool with that.
Guys, the first time, can I tell them?
I already know what story you're going to tell. Go ahead.
The first time I met Anthony, he said, I said something about George Clooney in a mall. And somebody said, I think Amal is like more famous than he is, or something, like more successful than he is what they said. And Anthony said, I'd love it if my wife was more, or if I was known as somebody's husband. What, I'm not telling you right. What is it?
You're not telling it right. But basically, if my wife was more successful than I was, of course.
No,
why would I not be?
No, you said you'd like to be known as somebody, referred to as somebody's husband. Like,
oh, yes. If somebody was like, oh, that's Polina's husband, awesome. I'm in. That means that you're super successful. Why would I not like that?
Good.
Oh, that got a thumbs up?
Thumbs up. What?
Oh, I figured that was like a 2 thumbs up type comment, but okay, that's fine. Well, I'll go with 1 thumbs up. That's fine. All right, what's your Harris? Thanks for your bullshit today, but you win.
Wait, how are we going to get in touch with Harris now?
I'll leave a comment down there and tell him a secret code to tell me.
Forget.
Can you please tell me what joke you have? Because I know it's going to be something not funny.
So it's time for Polina's joke time. Okay. I thought that was a look of, I can't wait. Okay. What do you call a pig that does karate?
A pig that does karate? A squealer.
No. What the hell is that? No. God, you could have ruined the joke with bad answers. A pork chop. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Come on.
That was the answer?
Yes, it's a pork chop. You see?
Well, first of all, we know you don't do karate with that move. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It looks more like you're a blender than doing any karate chops over there. But I'm glad that you said your joke. I'm very glad that you thought that joke was funny. Good job.
Hey.
All right, guys. That's it. I hope you enjoy Polina's jokes. Don't go bankrupt. If you want $35,000, go figure out how to build a toilet from the moon. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Lunch money. Well, she's trying to get rich. The rest of us just trying to get her lunch money right.
Be nice in the comments again. I like that. Bang, bang. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Lunch Money as much as we did.
And don't forget, Lunch Money is now sponsored by BlockFi, so go check them out. There's a link in the description that you can click on. I'm an investor, a user, and a huge fan. What?
You're a bigger fan of BlockFi than you are of me?
BlockFi is my second favorite thing in the world behind Polina. They've got 3 products. They can give you a US dollar loan. You can earn up to 8.6% interest on an interest-bearing account, or you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies on their crypto exchange. I personally use the interest-bearing account. There's not very many places where you'll find up to 8.6% interest on a deposit in an interest-bearing account. Go do your own research. There's risk associated, but 8.6% is pretty compelling. So click on the link in the description. Say thanks to the folks at BlockFi. Subscribe to our channel. Like the video. Annoy Polina in the comments. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
And be kind to your friends.